Hello! Welcome to the finale of Ultraman 2019 from Netflix. I guess this isn't the finale. This is our discussion of the finale. Little, little clarification. So, how have you guys been? We ran into some scheduling issues last week, so we've been gone. But what have you guys been up to? What about you, Corey? What'd you get? What'd you get? That's a bit of an upgrade. All right, hold on. They're telling me in the chat that you guys are on mute. So I'm gonna have you guys keep talking for a second. So you guys who are watching, you'll see their lips moving, but until I figure out why you can't hear them, it might be a second. So bear with me here. Corey, just let's see.
I had a female friend named Corey, and it was Corrie.
Yeah, that's the girly way too.
Okay. I think they should be able to
he's
hear you
not
guys
gonna
now.
have
There
to
might be a brief echo for
for
a second, but now that should
Test,
be gone.
test.
It
Can
So
says
you guys
guys,
hear
Ellen.
us?
people watching, I apologize for that. It looked like someone was on mute for some reason on my end, but we should be good. And hopefully there shouldn't be an echo, but it looks like there might be. So let me know if there is. Okay, so once again, just to catch everyone up, Elle took a nap last week and overslept, and Corey bought a Tesla, upgrading from a 2000 Blazer.
I
Basically.
apologize. Sleepy times last week. I am now refreshed and ready to get into this. How about you, Josh? Any new updates? Any new fun things?
Um, I think I've talked before that I've been upgrading some of the things in my space here. We were briefly talking about this before we went live. I bought a new desk and I've completely rearranged my room. You kind of saw that starting a little bit when you came over last week to do the unboxing videos. You saw that my desk and a lot of things were in
Yeah,
different
2 weeks
places.
ago. 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
So your new setup is a lot better. We were doing some unboxings, and for those of you watching, if you're interested in anything that not Funko, I'm sorry, Toink has to offer, we actually have some fun unboxing videos coming up in the short future, hopefully.
Actually, I do hear an echo. I think that's kind of, it's everyone. Hold on one second here. I don't know if that's me or if that's someone having a speaker on that's coming back through the things here. I'm going to put us on intermission briefly, and we'll be right back. Hold on, just a second.
We'll be right back after.
Okay, we are back. Hopefully, you can hear us all now, and there's no echo. Everything should be good. My
Let us
weird
know.
hydration drink looks like it's also done. Uh, so hopefully that will also be good. Okay,
Hail
so
hydration.
more a recap. Last week, Elle slept in. Corey got rid of his 2000 Blazer and bought a Tesla. I completely rearranged my room, bought a new desk, and downsized everything. But now we're good to go. I think. All kinds
Yeah.
of new random issues popping up all the time. But as you guys were saying, that's technology. We can land a rover on Mars, but we can't get a fucking computer system to work right. It's all good.
You know. But yeah, we today on the Retro Ranger wrap up will be talking about episodes what is it, 11, 12, and 13
Yes.
of the 2019 Netflix Ultraman. I'm super excited. I thought they threw some pretty good twists our way. And I also have a ton of questions. I think my comprehension just might have not all been there, but I'm super excited to jump into this show with you guys.
Yeah, so am I. I really enjoyed these 3 episodes. I felt a lot of nods to other, I guess like sci-fi shows or sci-fi movies in these 3 episodes.
Mhm.
So it was kind of cool, but at the same time, like there were a couple of moments where I was like, oh, they're just doing this again. But I enjoyed it. Corey, what you've seen these before, and now you're rewatching them again with us now, right?
Yes.
So between the first time that you watched them and this most recent time, was there anything new that you picked up or that you saw, or has your opinion on it changed at all with
I
this
re-
watch through?
I remember like I didn't want to say I didn't like it, but like it got boring in a certain part, and now I remember why. And they have filler episodes in a 13 episode season.
What do you
So
consider filler? Because I do agree with you on certain parts, and I wonder if we're talking about the same thing.
yeah,
What is
the
your
the
biggest
whole
pet peeve?
the whole thing with the trying to find the killer who was stalking Rena. Like that was unnecessary if the whole end game, I mean, that the whole story about the airplane disappeared, and then it was all about fighting this killer, and then the plane story came back. If the plane story was in the background for like those 3 episodes, then it wouldn't feel so weird in the middle, you know?
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from with that, and I to an extent agree, but I understand why those episodes were there. Like I don't feel like they were complete filler, because to me it kind of felt like those were trying to flesh out whatever this issue with the Star Cluster Alliance is, and that Bemular has some sort of other motive going on. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it that
because the showdown with Reina did have both of them, and that's what brought up of like, hey, is the Star Cluster Alliance or whatever they are in cahoots with, Bemular because they didn't arrest him even though he blew up the plane. Like it brought in a lot of questions, but I do agree with Corey that the whole Reina thing is kind of seems thrown in and doesn't have a lot of tie into a lot of other characters.
yeah, it feels like they were trying to figure out a way to give Shinjiro a love interest, and kind of
Yeah,
stuck
hate that.
this in there to do that, and molded the story around this concept instead of trying to figure out how to insert the concept into the story that they already had.
Yeah, like they could have still done that, but it felt like they was writing for 20 episodes, but then only finished 13. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. So in the first of these 3 episodes, we kind of got we started with the follow up of what happened with Shoji
Seiji, yeah.
Seiji,
Our
and
baby Ultraman.
what happened with him, and going into the SSSP, and this is where Ito's motivations kind of come into question, because he approached Seiji
Yeah.
outside after he had left, and it was like, hey, so you didn't get in, but I still want to see you become an Ultraman. So what do we think? Like, do we think that he has something going on separately with the Star Cluster Alliance, or is this something like another completely random thread that's here for some reason?
The
Like I don't.
way, oh, go ahead, Corey, because I feel like you read. I have tons of questions.
I
Lay
mean,
some
I don't
knowledge on us.
even know what the Star Cluster Council is to even have an opinion of what bureaucracy is going on with the SSP. You know, so
Mm.
it's like how I want to see you become an Ultraman, but you didn't get in. So I mean, if someone has
But he's playing
potential, you
him though.
hire them.
Like
You know.
it was pretty obvious that he was setting up a coup, not necessarily a coup, but he was leading Seiji into a battle where, by any means necessary, they were trying to expose or bring out Ultraman's powers. The whole thing with the house, as we see as we kind of go along, let's just talk about them as all three. So the whole thing with the house, and he's luring him there of like, hey, you know, your sister, whatever, she's fine. These are the people you need to go after him. So he seems very by like any means necessary. I don't care who dies. I don't care who gets hurt, but we are going to bring Ultraman out, the real Ultraman, and expose all of his powers. So this was really, I feel like, all for Shinjiro, for him to realize like, oh my God, this young boy is going to die, and realize his actual Ultraman powers. I kind of read it as that, but I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, I kind of got that. I got a sense of that, but it also seemed like there was something else going on too. Like he had a like I said, like a secret motive outside of whatever the SSP was trying to do. Because like even with Dan Nojiboro,
Yeah.
it's like that scene with him. Like, okay, so now I'm sorry, I'm gonna completely jump around. Does he have like some weird psychic powers that we're just finding out about? Because when Rena showed up at the SSSP to talk to Shinjiro,
No,
That's
that
like
was just
comedic.
for comedy. That part was pure comedy.
Okay.
Where he's watching Shinjiro and he's like, dude, he's gonna expose his powers. Like he's already almost done it before. He was like, so he's standing there,
right?
And he was like, like staring at him like, motherfucker, if you expose your secrets, I'm gonna kill you.
See, that's
and like it was like a comedic kind of thing.
it came off that way, but also at the same time, I couldn't tell if like they were actually like talking to each other like via like some weird psychic connection, or if it was just him staring him down, like giving him the evil eye. Because like I loved seeing him standing there at the top with like the glare coming off of his glasses.
Yeah, the glasses.
And then as soon as he was like, "I will kill you," like he tilted his head down. You like actually saw his eyes. And, like that scene was great, but I was like, wait, am I missing something else that's happening here?
Yeah, it's just the voice acting. I'm sure it came off better in Japanese.
It probably did.
Yeah, like just watching it in English, it was just kind of off. It kind of seemed like he was talking to him, and like he was, like he had a calm in his ear. It's like, if you fuck up, I'm gonna kill you, boy. You know?
yeah.
Like he had a calm in his ear or something.
Well, since we're on Rental, let's keep talking about this.
You got a motorcycle in your room?
I'm pretty close to the street. I'm sorry, I don't know where the speaker is. Trying to block that out.
Sorry.
But Rena does know. Like,
yeah.
I mean, she figured it out. I'm pretty sure Dan does kind of realize that too. But I mean, you know, Shinjiro is not. He's not really good at keeping secrets. He already let it slip once, and then the whole thing with the cafe of like, oh, I need to call Ultraman, but I'm gonna leave my phone here, and I'll just show up as soon as everything's done. And you know,
it was a very Lois and Clark from Superman 2 kind of moment.
It is, but I mean, it is modeled after Superman. He is Japan's Superman. He has the dual identity and, you know, commoner real life and ultra superpower superhero. So I thought it was kind of cool. It plays very much into Superman.
Yeah, I thought I thought it was really funny. Like the only difference is that Dan is the one that wears glasses and not Shinjiro.
And then also Reina is the one of the master of disguises, wearing a hat and glasses, and nobody can recognize her except for everybody.
And it's funny, and I think there was definitely some character growth with her too, where she was like starting to realize, okay, I was being kind of dumb about what was happening.
Mhm.
I demanded that Ultraman promise to save everyone, even though I saw him there doing his best to try and save everyone, and that was putting even more pressure on him than was probably needed. And she grew out of that. Um, I need to expose Ultraman type phase, and
Yeah,
I'm
she
glad
had that chip on her shoulder
Yeah,
that she's kind of, kind of coming to terms with finally.
yeah. I'm glad they've moved on from that, because it just seemed I understand that they're in high school, but it just like that's always come across as like an immature like just we're going to make drama just for the sake of having drama conflict. But would Chipper?
It's a
It's a
helicopter.
chopper.
It's now a helicopter. Um, but yeah, I completely understand. I wish the female characters, especially, had a lot more development. She comes off, like you said, incredibly naive, kind of dumb, like her disguises aren't good. She doesn't come across as intelligent at all. Versus when you see like Lois Lane, kind of the counterpart of Superman, she is a journalist. She goes after what she wants. She's putting her life at risk to expose the truth and to help, the people of Metropolis like be informed. Reina is definitely not like that, which is kind of sad considering she's like the only female
Mhm.
character in this entire series that she comes across as pretty dumb considering that she's basically the same age as Shinjiro.
Yeah, and like it might be the plan might be to develop her as a character that way, to have her start off as that and then build her up into, because now she's in New York.
Mm.
She's trying to get more culturally aware of the world around her.
Mm-hmm.
So who like if we come back for season 2, which it seems like they want to, when or not that's going to come out, we don't know, but it seems like maybe she'll have grown in between the seasons and now be a slightly more confident, slightly more intelligent person.
I
And
don't
she
know how
went
she
out
can
to New
play into
York.
it though. Yeah, like my whole thing is she went to New York. She's gone from the series. Like her arc is done. I don't know how she could come back and contribute to Shinjiro's growth or even to help him out, knowing that he is Ultraman. Like knowing that and her kind of playing coy and being like, I know your secrets. I'm going to give you this call and disappear. Very corny. Even for like animated kind of stuff. Because a lot of the other stuff seems so adult, the violence, the action, kind of playing with morality seems like very adult concepts. And when it comes to the single female in this show, she just seems like dumb as bricks sometimes. And it makes me so sad, like I love
Yeah,
cosplaying, and who am I gonna? Definitely not her. Like she is the weakest character. Like Dan is way more interesting than she is, and it's like she's the main love interest and the one person outside of the SSSP, the one person outside of Ultraman who brings in the outside experience that the audience should be able to see through her eyes. But I don't think you do. Like, she doesn't bring you into the story. In fact, she kind of takes you out of it, in my opinion. And it's just so disappointing to see female characters written so poorly, I guess.
yeah. It was weird because like also at that cafe meeting when the window washers were falling, like immediately
Yeah.
like it felt very set up. Like I thought that was going to be a setup
Yeah.
until it wasn't. It was very weird the
Yeah,
way
I
they
thought it
wrote
was
that
a
in.
ploy by her to test
Right.
Shinjiro, to see if he was to like, she has these ideas about it. And it turns out, man, I gave her more credit than I should have. And that was doubly disappointing.
So let's what's next? Who do we want to talk about?
The
uh
conflict with oh, what's the Ultraman Ace? What's that boy's name?
which one?
Seiji, the young one,
Seiji.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole conflict
that
with.
that is the he is a
What
major turning point, I feel like. And
Yeah,
I'm a
but
little sad that
what does it say that we can't remember his name? Like, is that on us just because we can't remember his name, or is that a failure to make him that interesting of a character that we're just like, that kid.
I mean, he
Honestly, the
came
names
in
are
too
kind of
late.
hard though. Yeah, it's hard to introduce characters. His name is Seiji. We have Shinjiro. We have like, I think it's also unfamiliar with names that might be common in Japan, where it's
Yeah.
just like that could be Bob, that could be Sam. But for us, it sounds foreign and very similar. So I think it's just our ears not being able to recognize kind of basic names as well.
Maybe I don't know, because I also like, I guess I do that in like regular TV shows, in live action TV shows.
Yeah.
Like I'll call the actors by the actor's name instead of
And not the
the
character. Yeah,
character's
I
name,
do that as well.
unless I don't know the actor's name, and then I'll refer to them as the character. Unless I don't know the character's name either, and that's just that guy or
Yeah,
that woman.
it's true. Because even for Dan, like most of the time, at least in the Japanese version, I think they call him Moboroshi or something like that. But
Yeah.
it's like that name is very difficult for an English only speaker to roll off the tongue. So let's just go with Dan. Even
Yeah.
in the Japanese version, they very rarely use his first name. I think they used it like 3 times in the entire series. Um, so it is difficult, but Seiji is a major player, which is interesting. And this is where like a lot of my questions come in. So I'm gonna just get into it. So the
Yeah.
plane, we find out. Let's go back to the very beginning, and we see the plane blow up. They say it was a terrorist thing, it was a plane malfunction, but now we realize that there were research people on this plane that was being transferred for whatever reason, unknown reasons, I'm assuming, and
Sorry,
the
I'm gonna cut him for
SSP. Oh
just
yeah,
1 second. Honorable Kung Lao is just asking us to pull up a pic of the characters. So while L is talking, let me see what I can do to pull in some visuals here.
yeah,
So
just so we know
yeah,
who we're
I'm
talking
gonna look
about.
like I'm looking off in a weird direction, so I apologize for that. But you guys go ahead and talk amongst yourself for a minute.
Yeah, so the whole plane thing, we find out that was neither a terrorist attack nor a plane malfunction, but Bemular is not the cause of it. It was something by the Star Alliance, whatever you want to call it. It was a hit out to get these researchers, but do we know why?
No, it's
Okay.
like they hire mercenaries to take people out, but we don't
We don't know why.
know
We don't
why.
know what
It's
they were researching. We don't know how many
yeah.
of them were on the plane. And was the plane half civilian, half research team, all research team?
I think a research team was on a civilian plane. That's what it
Okay.
was.
Okay, so that does make sense. And Bemular comes and saves, I think they mentioned 4 people. It was like 4 people from the research team or their children, in addition to Seiji, that he saves for no real reason. No one knows why he decided to save a human boy, which was
Yeah.
interesting.
And then something that the Bemular what's the buff blonde guy? What's his name?
Jack.
That was in
Jack.
the alien. Jack.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember Jack.
And that was a
Jack is
basic name, Corey.
Bemular.
Come on.
Jack is obviously Bemular. So he
Wait,
he
you
has
said
that
Jack
thing on
is
his
obviously
wrist.
Bemular or like in
Yes.
contact?
No,
You think
Jack
they're the same?
is Ben. Yeah, he's in the armor.
What? I did not pick that up. What makes you say
I
that?
did
I
not get
completely
that
missed that.
either.
Yeah, you didn't realize he was wearing the little wrist thing.
But I thought that was a communicator kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
I
but
thought it
he
was
never
just
he never uses it. He always used the little microphone communicator.
interesting. I actually did not pick up on that at all. Like that kind of just because we know that Jack is the one kind of. I thought he was the one kind of coaxing Seiji into becoming an Ultraman. Like
Yeah, but
he
then
was in communication with him.
after Jack is introduced to Seiji, Bemular is not like aggressive towards him at all after that. If you notice that.
Interesting. That
Because
is a worthwhile like something to go back and look at.
yeah.
I completely miss that. I would not have assumed that Jack was Bemular, especially since Jack, it was confirmed that he was human, right? So does he have this suit? Do you think the red guy that's making Seiji's armor is also the one supplying Jack all of that armor? Because
Yeah,
it
I
seems
think
to be similar tech.
because he walked in and he walked in and he was like, "Hey, is my suit working right?" So I don't know if he made it, but he's maintaining it, making
See, the
sure it's
other
working
thing
right.
The only thing I can think of to contradict what you're saying, because I do want to go back, is in the beginning, in that first episode with Hayata Senior, his arm, Bemular's arm, gets completely cut off. The helicopter's back. I apologize. But Bemular's arm gets completely chopped off, and Jack's arm does not look like Seiji's. You know, where it looks like a metal, kind of like fake arm, like a robot arm or whatever. So
No,
that
but
is the only thing.
we never seen Jack without his shirt. Oh wait, yes we did.
In the original fight, when we see him in the cage,
Yeah,
like that
yeah.
Wolverine cage battle or whatever, I'm pretty sure he was shirtless. So I was like,
Yeah, he was.
so that is the only thing. I am curious to go back with this information and kind of try to piece all these things together, but that would be interesting.
Yeah, I
And
mean, he could be an alien, and he can just regenerate his limbs,
that
even
is
though he
true,
says he's human.
because I was kind of curious about Seiji too, where it doesn't seem like he is human, but he was just raised among the other aliens. Do we know if the research team were aliens or if they were human?
I think so, yeah, because the sister or whatever, I think she's an alien.
Yeah, and she was just using like her cover to look like a human girl.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was under the impression that this person that he was fighting for had died. We find out later that she is alive. She escaped the oil tanker for whatever reason when he's talking to, was he talking to Jack? Was he talking to someone? But he was just like, hey, is she okay? Is she okay? It's like, no, they made it off. So this whole time I was under the pretext that Seiji was fighting for his deceased family member, which is why he had this strong vengeance. But it's not. He was just like, oh, they can't live out the way they want. He's stuck on the oil tank, or she's stuck on the oil tanker along with the other people I'm guessing Bemular saved. But having that whole not flashback episode, but kind of like giving context of what happened in the past, I feel like it raised a lot more questions than it did answer.
Yeah, because
anything.
I mean, he just wants her to live normally, but he's out attacking humans, like scumbag humans, as opposed to scumbag aliens. So
yeah, which is interesting. But he is trying to get back to the mercenaries to destroy them, the ones that destroyed the plane in the first place, which is why he was super hell-bent on going by himself, staking this out, and destroying them. But he's also kind of like Ito, the clam-looking guy, by any means necessary. He was willing to be like, all right, if the SSSP wants to go in, let's send them in first. They'll take out some of the mercenaries, and then I'll come in and destroy the big bad. So everyone does seem a little self-centered, and if they had come together and collaborated in the beginning, I feel like they would have stood a better chance.
yeah, it's like unnecessary conflict, but that's just like real life anyway.
I mean, I guess you're right. You're right.
If you look at the government, I mean, it's just I'm like, why did you guys do that? I mean, that's just unnecessary conflict. So it works in a way.
It is a lack of communication. I still thought that the last battle was pretty intense. Seiji basically got the life stomped out of him. You know, and if it's not for Bemular, this is also why I don't know if Bemular is Jack or if Jack might be an alien, is because Bemular picks him up at the end. It's like, yo, this kid's dead. I know you're sad, but if you let me carry him off Jesus-like, I'm gonna save him. And I was like, what is going on? Then why didn't he save everyone on the plane? Like, if he has this ability to bring people back from the dead, why wouldn't he bring more people from the research team back from the dead? Or offer them different protections.
Well, I mean, he is a cyborg. Like none of his limbs are like he's only a head in the.
Okay.
So, I mean,
he's very Darth Vader. At the end of episode 3.
So yeah, he's gonna get saved. He's just gonna have more robot parts. So I mean, it's kind of hard to say.
I do have another question. So I don't know his name, but the red creature that's basically making all the armor for Seiji, was he part of the research team? Because he was also like, I owe something to Bemular, which is why I'm like helping this kid out and blah, blah, blah. But was he one of the people that was saved from the plane?
They didn't mention that either.
I
They,
don't
Okay.
think he was.
Okay.
It seems like he knew all
A
of them.
past debt. Okay.
Yeah, so either he like maybe he worked with the team, but he wasn't on the plane with them. So
Okay.
he, like maybe it was like like a survivor's remorse type thing where he was like, I owe this to them because I wasn't. I should have been there, but I wasn't. Like
Okay, yeah.
maybe that kind
Because
of
he
thing.
seemed like he owed a debt to Bemular, and I wasn't sure if he was a researcher. Like, it's certain things like that where I don't know if it's a translation thing, if I'm reading subtitles, if I'm missing, some of the visuals because
Yeah.
I'm busy reading subtitles. But I had a lot of questions of like how all of these characters kind of come together and what their actual motives for anything are. Like, I feel like these last 3 episodes, I have no idea like what the motives for any of these characters, except for maybe Shinjiro, Seiji, are the only ones that seem to have like clear ethical goals.
Right. Let me see. I'm trying to. We keep going through these characters so fast. I was trying to pull up like Netflix in here, but
There's construction going on. Let me close this.
Yeah. My window capture is not letting me scale it down, so it would be full screen and just covering everything. So I apologize for that. It's not letting me, but I can pull up some more information on some of these guys now because I've got a little bit more stuff. Do we know what that red alien's name was? Like I can't. I don't even know if they ever actually told us.
I don't know.
Mr. Crab.
All right, let's just call him Mr. Krabs for right now. But yeah, I don't know if Seiji even mentions it. He really comes in very demanding of like, do this for me, do this for me. I give you the money, you're going to make it for me. So it does seem like he is it's interesting because Seiji is a very caring individual, just based off of his sister. So he was saved from the plane. I'm guessing grew up in isolation on that oil tanker as well. But is it because she specifically is targeted? I thought she was just a daughter of one of those research people.
Okay,
I didn't know
sorry.
that she was doing research on her own.
So his name, Seiji's caretaker's name is Yapul.
Non-pool.
Oh yeah, they didn't say that name.
Yeah. So he was a former scientist of the Star Cluster Alliance. He was one of their leading engineers. Some of his technology also went to creating the Ultraman suits, and along with the Minami family, Yapul was part of the inspection team sent by the Star Cluster Alliance to see if Earth was ready for admittance. However, the team seemingly came across something that made them the targets of assassination by a high-ranking member of the Alliance. He was on the plane with them.
He was on the plane, so he was saved.
Right.
Okay.
And he helped save Yuko's mother or older sister. Bemular left Seiji with him, and Yapul became his guardian.
Okay, that actually explains a lot. I don't know if that was ever explicitly stated in the show. That seemed like a lot of background information.
Yeah.
Like I said, it seemed like they hinted at it, like he was probably on the plane, which is why he owes the debt, and which is why Seiji is a human, but is okay with knowing all the alien technology. He had been orphaned on the plane and raised by these people. And I'm kind of curious if Bemular had any intent, like, why would he just save a random human child when there was tons of people on that airplane? Or did he get him confused? Like, maybe you're the child of some other researcher, or you switch seats or something like that. I don't understand why he would have saved his life in the first place, which is interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird.
It is. Like I said, a lot more questions than answers in these last 3 episodes, in my opinion.
Yeah, for real. So, do we want to talk about Ace Killer? Do we want to move on to this big final battle?
Oh, sure. I would love to. What did you think about it, Josh? Since you've been pulling up these photos, give us some input on what you thought of it.
So, okay, so this whole last battle, like, I actually really liked it. I liked that the I'm trying to find the name of the alien that looked like Bushroot from Darkwing Duck that had all the plant stuff coming out of him.
Yeah, he looked like Bulbasaur. He was like a Venusaur with his like vine whip action.
Yeah, so I liked that he looked different than the rest of the other characters there.
Yeah.
Like everyone else looked like these like either aliens or humans in armor, and he was like an actual alien with like different abilities and powers. And he also the animation style looked different on him too. Like he looked more like the texture on him was like more of this like rubbery, like realistic looking thing, where everyone else was like a cell shaded character.
Mm.
So I did like that. But I thought I really liked Ace Killer. It was just like funny, like how he was kind of like screwing around with everyone at first. He gets into the fight with Dan, but what I found really interesting here was that Seiji was like sitting off in a tree on the side, and was like, "This is what you get for not letting me do my own thing. You guys wanted to get stick your nose in my business, and this is what you get." Like, he's a dick. Like, Seiji is
Yes.
really a dick.
But you have to imagine that Seiji's parents, you assume that he was not traveling by himself, that in that day he lost his entire family. He kind of gained a new family, has been raised by some guy in a workshop that's giving him all of this crazy tech where he's robbing people. Like he has he wants revenge. Like whatever happened to his sister or whatever, like it seems weird. His motivations are a little more weird to me, knowing that that girl Yuko or whoever is alive, um, as opposed to spending time with her and trying to protect her and those other researchers. He's fighting like petty human crimes. It kind of muddies the water on what he's trying to accomplish, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But the battle itself, I still was pretty good. Like they stomped the life out of that kid. Like he had that vengeance youth. I thought he was gonna come up. Like I thought he was gonna win for a quick moment, and no, he was stabbed. He had a hole through his chest. Like that seems pretty damaging. And I'm curious how Bemular is gonna be like, I'll save him. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so speaking about that, okay, so I want to go back to Corey. You were saying that you think that Jack is Bemular. So we're kind of skipping ahead here, but at the end, Jack was as Jack, and he picked up Yapul and went off in some ship someplace. So why wasn't he dressed as Bemular at that point?
To maintain the mystery.
So so Yapul
To
doesn't know that Jack is Bemular.
It seems like Yapo knows who Bemyar is because he's talking to him as if he knows.
I don't know.
I have to go back and watch it. Like I said, it has been a week. I have the memory of a gerbil. Things instantly fade if I don't talk about them within 24 hours. But I'm super curious about how Jack, number one, became an informant and who was the one to reach out to him and why they used him as an informant in the first place. How does he know about the aliens in the first place? Because he is a human, or they at least identified him as a human. Unlike Seiji, where we know he was put into that position,
Right.
But Jack, we don't know about him. Ito, like we don't know about him and how he was orchestrating all of this. It really seemed like he just wanted the Ultraman powers to be exposed, which is why he was like, yeah, let's send the kid to go find the mercenaries. We're going to give him the address and he's not going to win because he's not Ultraman. And we are also going to send Ultraman and Dan as, trying to rescue him. Like, oh my God, this kid went and he has a vengeance and all of this. It seems very orchestrated. But again, like there's no solid motivations for any of this. It just seems kind of like a convoluted story
right.
at certain points.
And why did this mercenary team come back now?
Yeah. Are they still going after the researchers? And like,
Yeah.
and they're in different places. So why was one on an oil tank? One is living in an alien city, which he should be pretty easy to find. He is red and making Ultraman suits. You know what I mean?
Why were they trying to take out Seiji? Seiji obviously didn't know anything about the research that his parents were doing. If anything, they should have been going after Yapul, his caretaker, because he was one of the now that we know he was one of the researchers working with him on the team and one of the engineers that was here on Earth. So I don't understand like why they were after him, because he was just a kid, and like do they think that he knows things, and
Yeah,
maybe maybe that's it, but I don't.
that's what I was saying about the Rena episodes. Like that stuff is unnecessary when
We should have
they
been
don't
learning
have
more
to.
about Seiji and
Yeah.
the SSSP and also the Star Cluster
Yeah,
Alliance or
Yeah,
whatever.
what
like
is all of
a
that? You know?
flashback episode to what his parents and the research team were working on would have been great.
And,
knowing why these mercenaries were after them and what they were working on that made them such a target.
But
or even just saying, yeah, go ahead.
even if that's like a mystery till like the end of the series, what Seiji and his business and should have just been touched on a little bit more.
Yeah, to give you that hint of mystery, I like it when shows are able to, kind of drop breadcrumbs. Like maybe it's not obvious, but they're working on something. You know that this is a larger story. They give you a sense of like, hey, this is how much we're going to tell you, but it's going to come back into play. And I don't know how much of this series has that and how much is thought out of like how many seasons do they want to do? Are they doing it episode by episode, or is it kind of done more like, I don't know, something like Neon Genesis, where it's just like, I'm just pushing these out every week and story's going to be whatever the heck I feel like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. Going back to the fight for a minute though. So Shinjiro was able to unlock the limiter by himself. So this
Yes.
this is a new like power manifestation where he's able to. It seems like he has like a direct link to the armor outside of just wearing it.
Well, he's getting his Ultraman powers.
Right. So after everyone was essentially decimated and Seiji was like left for dead there, he releases the limiter, and he basically turns into Neo. At the end of the Matrix,
Yeah.
he's standing up.
Definitely.
He's just doing that, like
Yeah, exactly. I had the same comment. It is definitely like the Matrix.
He was very like he woke up, like he knew who he was now. You could hear that change in his voice where he was like, I know why I'm here. I know who I'm supposed to be.
He's Ultraman.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see how this is going to play out in the next season, if we ever get it, because now we know, like, his last conversation with Rena was, don't ever change who you are, and he's like, no, I'm not. But now 10 minutes later, he's changed who he is. So how is that going to affect his overall personality on a regular day-to-day basis, and how he feels about what they're doing?
Actually, Corey might be able to answer this. As like past Ultraman, are they always for the good of the people? Because the whole thing with Shinjiro is like, I will always try to save everyone, and that's what Reina likes about him. Of like, don't ever change, don't ever try to not save everyone, don't focus your attention on a single person. That's the way I read it. But I feel like Ultraman is always the ultimate good. He is Superman. So I feel like in that sense, his morals, ethics, whatever, has not changed. He just leveled up a little bit,
Yeah, because most kind of like Kamen Rider as well. Like the main Ultra is always the Boy Scout, and then you have the side Ultras who can just be whoever they want to be.
Yeah. Okay.
Like their dickheads are they more self righteous or whatnot.
Yeah, they have some Dans on the team.
So maybe I guess maybe a better comparison than like Neo, maybe like Goku, like he's gotten Super Saiyan level 1 now.
Yeah, he did have that moment. He did have that Super Saiyan moment. But yeah, it's super interesting, and I'm still like, even in the beginning, I was hoping they would flush out some of like the ethics and the morals and good versus evil and like aliens versus humans, and kind of like work with the gray zones instead of the dichotomies of black and white. I don't know if any of these themes have been fully developed yet, and I don't know if that's their intent after 13 episodes. I still am interested in the show, and I'm kind of one of those where if I start something, I'm gonna give it an honest chance. It's intriguing enough where I am definitely interested in a season 2, but I don't know if it's gonna have those hard-hitting themes like I thought it was after the first episode.
I don't know. I'm definitely interested to see season 2 when it eventually drops. And hopefully we get an announcement about that somewhat soon. I'll definitely be keeping my eye out for it. But yeah, I'm a little concerned about where the storyline is going. Are we going to get answers about what's going on with the Star Cluster Alliance or Star Cluster Council? Is the storyline with Reyna being in New York, is that going to get resolved? Or is she just going to disappear off the face of the Earth? What happened? Like, is Seiji going to come back? Is he going to now become some rogue Ultraman in space? I don't know. I don't know. Corey, what do you want out of season 2?
It's hard to say because I don't know Ultraman like I know Power Rangers. So it's hard
but not necessarily as a fan, but just as someone who's watching the show and being like, okay, I want to watch season 2 and where it's going. Where do you want to see it go? What do you want explored more?
I guess really just the SSP and what they're about, because they seem kind of shady.
Yeah.
If you watch the original Ultraman, they seem kind of straightforward, but now it's what happened between then and now that made them so creepy. I couldn't find a word.
I agree with you. Because in the beginning, they made not only the SSSP, I think even with the Star Cluster Alliance or whatever that is, I'm curious about that as well and how that ties into the SSSP. Just because in my head, the Alliance or whatever was more like United Nations. We're going to take all the planets that are in this council are for good. We're going to, protect and, none of this stuff. I thought they were on the side of good, but it does seem like they are putting hits out. So I want to know, what was the research team researching where they became hits for a United Nations agency,
Yeah, for me as a Star Trek fan, the Star Cluster Alliance or Council or whatever, it feels like Starfleet. A federation of planets that have come together. And in Star Trek, they lead you to believe that the Federation and Starfleet have created this utopian society where everyone is striving to be good and no one is shady. But then as you get further and further into the series, you realize there's all this secret shit that's going down behind the scenes, and that not everyone is as good as the main characters of the show that you're led to believe are the people that you should be looking up to.
And Corey does hit on that when he was saying it seems like a very political, very government, very shady kind of organization, and we definitely are starting to see those cracks.
Yeah. So I don't know. And sorry, just one second, Thomas. We'll talk about that at the end of the show before we wrap out. We'll let you know what's going on with their schedule in the future. So chill. It'll be interesting to see how they go and what the character development is going into the next season.
Are you looking forward to anything, Josh? Anything specific or any things you want them to focus on?
I want to know what Ito is up to.
He seems shady as well.
Wait, Ito or Ide? The one-eyed guy.
Oh, the clam.
Yeah.
Okay, the clam dude. Yeah, that's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming the other guy, he's not really in the show anymore. Hayata's friend.
Yeah.
So, clam guy has a lot of secrets.
I want to know what he's up to. I want to know why he is he almost seems like he's doing the Palpatine thing with Seiji, where he's we're gonna keep our eye on you.
Do it.
Yeah. So I really want to know what he's up to. I want to know if Corey's theory about Bemular being Jack is correct, and if it's not correct, what the fuck's going on with Jack? What?
Where did he come from?
Where did he come from? It's clear that he might not actually be human. Or if he is, there's clearly
if he's wrestling aliens, he's not human.
Yeah, or he has some upgrades. He has something in him, especially with Seiji's prosthetic arms looking human. Maybe Jack isn't, maybe that is all prosthetics and he just has the best of the best.
I don't know. I am excited to see what happens with Shinjiro going forward.
Mhm.
I want to know what if he is going to change. Are the events of this finale going to change how he lives his everyday life when he's not in the Ultraman costume? How is he going to wrestle with everything that just happened?
Realistically, I feel like when you have that much power, there is no going back to normal life. Like you drop out of school, you're wholly invested in being Ultraman at this point. Like
Yeah,
you got superpowers. You
yeah,
you just don't
yeah.
go to freaking high school and pass exams at this point. Like that's done.
Or all the incidents can just coincidentally just be um, done after when he gets out of school. Just shit just happens when he gets out of school
Listen,
all the time.
maybe the villains have a sense of honor, and they're like, no, his school comes first. We'll attack him later.
He has a
Honestly,
test today.
I feel like they can also end this really easily as it was all a dream. Like he fell off that second story balcony and he was in the Ultraman thing, and this is just his fever, his coma dreams
So
of like,
so
I'm gonna grow up, I'm gonna get a hot
it's Adventure
girl.
Time.
Adventure Time wasn't a dream though. That was actually all real, and they actually went generations after
Oh,
towards the end.
really? I never
Yeah.
really caught up for it, but all I really remember about it was that there was a theory that he had been in a coma like the entire time, and this was all just like
Oh, that was probably just a theory that didn't actually happen in the show. It was very different.
yeah,
But I think he could have. Like we saw Shinjiro fall
right.
and his dad whisk him away. And like, wouldn't that be funny if he was just in a coma and this is like his childhood dreams of like, I'm gonna get a hot pop idol. I'm gonna get Ultraman powers. I'm gonna like fight off all these crazy. I'm gonna get my little Robin sidekick. He's gonna die, but he'll come back. You know, like I feel like this is like a little kid's like little fever dream, coma dream.
Yeah, I can dig it. Yeah. Overall, for the entire seasons, how would you guys rate this? You don't necessarily need to give a number, but just we know that we already know that we're all invested in wanting to see season two. But what did you think of this first season?
It was cool. I don't hate it, but like I said, animation really bothers me. It's really stiff and weird at times, and but yeah, I'll watch it season two.
I feel the same. I feel like if I didn't watch it along with you guys, it's not something that I would have necessarily picked up on my own, even though it does seem interesting. Yeah, the animation style was a little jarring to begin with. It grew on me though. I'm used to it. What I don't know if this is a top recommended. If I would recommend this to someone that would ask though. Like I don't know if it has the promise of having that hard hitting excuse me, hard hitting impact that will change your perception either on the genre or anything else like that. I do want to say, not to offend anyone, this was a refreshing break from Power Rangers, so I did enjoy it in that aspect.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. This is something that had been in my queue because when I saw it, I was like, oh, this looks interesting. Um, I like it's not something that I probably would have picked up for a while if we hadn't decided to go with it for now. It probably would have just sat in my queue for like another year until I got through everything else I wanted to watch. And then like, oh, it's like I also have Voltron sitting in my queue and
Hmm.
a
You
couple.
didn't finish Voltron?
I never even started Voltron.
Oh man.
Yeah, there's so much stuff that are there that I want to watch that this probably wouldn't have been my immediate pick, but I'm glad that I've watched it. And yeah, like I'm definitely invested in watching a season two. Something else that popped up yesterday that I'm really interested in watching, and maybe I'll get through it this week, is the Pacific Rim anime.
Yeah, I love Pacific Rim. Kind of for all the reasons that we were hating on Ultraman. Like there was no forced love interest. Our main protagonist isn't actually the white dude that you see on the posters. It's about a black father and a Japanese daughter and them coming to terms with their past histories. Pacific Rim is one of my favorite movie franchises, and I cannot wait to watch that anime.
It's fun. Like there's the storyline in it is very superficial. I will give
Yeah,
it that.
which is fine.
Which but it's fine because it's all kind of like the reason a lot of people like Power Rangers, Corey. It's giant monsters fighting giant robots, and then
Yeah.
it's story to get to the action, not action to get to the story. Which once in a while I'm completely okay with. But like I if I'm watching like a movie that's not like a popcorn film, I don't like when the action overtakes the story. But for these kind of things, like it's giant robots fighting giant monsters. Like I'm not going to be sad if I don't get like a really deep, complex storyline out of it.
I still want more though, because I feel like, man, Pacific Rim, like Guillermo del Toro has a way of writing things in subtext with colors and music and everything else that makes it so good. So I'm kind of curious because Pacific Rim 2 had some interesting theories, but the
Yeah,
anime is completely different. It's taking place in Australia, different characters. So I'm going in with a different mindset than the movie franchises,
yeah.
but man, I would love to talk about it. If any of you guys in the chat are interested in hearing our opinions on that or a show like this, I would love to do one on Pacific Rim,
Yeah, let us know.
the Netflix one.
Let us know. Depending on all of our schedules or who, like we can reach out to some of the other people here at the channel. Maybe I could bring Jamie in. He's gonna start talking about Cowboy Bebop, getting us prepared for the live action Cowboy Bebop series.
Ooh, I want to join in on that chat. I have some interesting opinions on Cowboy Bebop and anime being turned into anything live action.
Oh, solid. Yeah. So what you and I will chat about that off camera.
Yeah.
But
I'd love
to kind of to move on to what's coming up for us next week, we will be starting Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. There you go, Thomas. That is our next order of business. So provided we don't have any last minute schedule conflicts, it will be coming up next Saturday at our regular time. This week, I know Corey has started kind of going through the episodes and separating them out. So we're going to figure out a schedule and we'll post that up so you can see which weeks we're going to be talking about which groups of episodes so you guys can get ready for it. It is available on Amazon Prime. It's only $13 for the season, so that makes it really easy to get. It's digital video, so you don't have to wait for the DVDs to come in. So that's great, and that's the whole reason now that we decided to cover it. I hadn't known that it was up there previously. I had just seen the DVDs for sale, but now that I know it's available digitally, that makes me a lot more comfortable with being able to do this because $13 is that's nothing for 40 episodes of television.
Yeah.
So in also to try and help us talk about these things a little bit more, I know the Honorable Kung Lao was asking us to put up images of the characters that we were talking about. I will figure out a way to get a better representation of what we're talking about on the screen, whether that's me being able to pull in the episode from Amazon and click around it so you can see which sections we're talking about, or just taking screen caps and bringing those up on the screen to make that a little bit better. But we want to up the quality of our shows. So if there's anything that you want to see us do, let us know in the comments. Reply, hit us up on social media and be like, hey, it would be really cool if when you guys are talking about Lightspeed Rescue, you could do this. And I will try my best to get that implemented in the show, but I can't make any promises because, as we saw at the beginning of the show, technology sucks.
Yeah.
So over the next week, coming up after this show at 2:45, so in about 15 minutes, I'm still waiting to hear back from Jamie to make sure we're still good to go on time. So provided that's all good, we will be talking about the next episode of Star Trek Enterprise, which is called Fusion, which is a T'Pol-centric episode. Tomorrow night we have the Illuminerdi Wrestling Order, where they will be talking about everything that's happened in the past week in the world of professional wrestling. And hopefully sometime this week, Shay will finish editing the box openings that Elle and I did for the Spider-Man desk lamp that we got from Toink, the Dark Saber desk lamp that we got from Toink, and some more adult-oriented cannabis culture stuff that is really, really dope and sitting on my desk over there in front of me.
Yes.
What about you guys? What do you guys have coming up? Anything that fun that you want that you'd like everyone to know about?
No,
I'm just
nothing.
really hungry and I want to go eat.
All right, we can't blame you for that. It
I'm
is.
really hungry.
So if you
I'm losing
guys
energy.
want to give Corey some food money, go ahead and throw in some super chats in this last little bit. Otherwise, maybe you can send him a Venmo. I'm not working on anything. It is still like COVID time around here. Most of my content usually comes from going out. So hopefully, things will be getting better in America. Hopefully, most adults, Biden has been saying that vaccines will be for adults by the end of May, that we would have enough for the end of May. And that's very optimistic, even though in pop culture life, quite a lot of things have been canceled this week. We realized that San Diego Comic-Con will not be happening again this year. We won't get PMC this year.
E3 Live was canceled
Yeah.
again. Yeah, so we'll see. I don't know. I've got hope. My mom got her first shot. I think
Oh,
2 weeks
nice.
ago. My sister got her shot. My younger sister, who lives out here in LA, she got her shot about a week ago, I think.
Nice.
So it seems like everything's coming along. So that's hopeful. That's good.
Yeah, and then hopefully, if all of these things go well by the end of the year, hopefully we can all be back in studio doing these shows together. I feel like I do miss our banter. Being in person is so very different than doing things through a conference call. But thanks so much for tuning in every week, bearing with us as we are doing our social distance streams.
Yeah, and again, I will post to social media and our YouTube channel in the community tab what the end result with Star Trek coming up at 2:45 is. Hopefully, we'll be going on. But if not, I will let you know when that is rescheduled for. If that doesn't happen, make sure to come back tomorrow night to tune in to the Illuminerdi Wrestling Order, and we will see you all next week with the first few episodes of Power Rangers Light Speed Rescue.
All right, thanks for joining, everyone. We'll see you guys next week.
Later, all.